Team that didn't have to do any convincing that they'll be better. Last year, they won 13. Florida State is back to work with practices underway, and this comes after being left out of the playoffs last season. They kick things off this season over the pond in Dublin, Ireland on August 24th against Georgia Tech in the Aer Lingus Football Classic. But before kickoff, Florida State must replace 14 of their 22 starters, with 7 coming on each side of the ball. And of those 14, 10 were selected in the 2024 NFL Draft. Florida State was one of 5 schools to have at least 10 players drafted this spring. The other 4 went on to make the college football playoff. EJ Manuel caught up with one of the replacements, DJ Uiagalelei.
Now, what went into the decision of coming to Florida State?
I think everything, man. Just trying to find a place where I feel like I can get better at. Find a place where it's going to be best fit me, a coaching staff, a coach, the offense that's going to be able to fit me and my skill sets. And I mean, I found it here with Coach Norvell, Coach Torkos, and everybody else here, man. It's an unbelievable program, man. It's been a journey. It's been great to be able to be here at Florida State for the past 6-7 months I've been here. I've learned a lot. I've got to experience a lot being here, and the coaches here and the players here are great, man. It's been wonderful, man.
The fan base here is one of the best, man. One of the reasons why I love coming back to Tallahassee, bring my family, my kids, but also even when I was like you in your shoes as a player, the fans were the ones that we wanted to do it for. How excited are you to come out into Doak Campbell Stadium for the first time?
I'm super excited, man. The stadium is amazing. The fans here are amazing, man. The fans, they love the team. And, that's all you want as a player, man. You want fans that are passionate about the game, passionate about the players and about the coaches, and love the game of football. You can feel that here with the Florida State fans, and I'm super excited about coming here in day one and just coming in my first game.
DJ, going back to your time at Clemson, you were anointed the chosen one after Trevor Lawrence. You were the guy, 5-star recruit coming out of high school, played well your freshman year, really showed the country who you are and who you could be. Now you're here at Florida State on your 3rd stop. How does that situation kind of, for you when you look back on it, how does it make you feel?
For me, I learned a lot being at Clemson. I love my time there. The relationships I built there with my teammates, coaching staff, I enjoyed it. And for me, man, I'm excited to be here at Florida State. And I've learned a lot coming in, being in college 4 years, now my 5th year at Florida State. So I feel like I have a lot of experience under my belt, but there's a lot of stuff that, I want to show on camera. I want to show on the field and just go out there and just ball for my teammates. Be the best team I could be, make every play I can make, just be confident each and every time I step on the field, and just be a great teammate, a great leader each and every time.
Do you feel like you have something to prove now?
I want to say I have something to prove. For me, man, I just want to go out there and ball. For me, the outside noise, whatever people say, what they say, have opinions about me, whatever, that doesn't really bother me, anything like that. In my heart, I know what kind of player I am, and I just want to go out there and show the rest of the world that for what I believe in myself.
Okay. Now, if somebody were to buy stock in the DJU, why would they buy stock in you?
For me, why would they buy stock? The stock's on the rise. I think that's my thing. I think the stock's on the rise. I think there's a lot of stuff I want to show to the world, and just a lot of stuff I want to be able to put on film. It's different scouts and people watching the game of football. So that's why.
Good stuff, man. Appreciate the time, bro.
What do you think will be FSU's ID this year?
Victoria, I think it stops and starts with trying to make good on that snub from last year. I still think it is one of the worst snubs that we've seen in college football history, and probably won't see one worse than it. And I realized that, we saw the graphic earlier about how many starters that they lost, and not just lost, but lost to the NFL. Like, this was a great team last year. But I think despite a lot of these new faces that we're going to see coming in from the portal, Mike Norvell, I can tell you from being in that room the day that they got snubbed, he is going to use that as a motivational tactic for this team. They felt like something was taken from them. And so they're going to be playing with a chip on their shoulder this year. So I think, one, you're going to see a team that is going to be playing like their hair is on fire. And then the other piece of this, too, we mentioned those new additions, one obviously being DJU. I think he is low-key one of the great quarterbacks to be put in this particular position with this team, because he is also somebody, he sort of mentioned it in an interview with EJ, that he is somebody that has something to prove. And I think with a quarterback like him, you have seen he showed glimpses at Clemson. He obviously showed those as well at Oregon State. And I think he's one of those players, when you continue to put him in good positions, he will rise. And I think that you're going to see that with this Florida team this year, especially with him at the quarterback position.
Yeah, Harry, you make a lot of great points, and I think DJU really establishes a high floor for this team, and it would not surprise me if they do get to that double-digit win mark. But I think the identity of this team is going to be on the defensive side. And if you remember last year, we saw players like Jared Verse, Braden Fisk, Renardo Green, Jerry and Jones. We saw them produce so much NFL talent. I think it's going to be very similar this year. Now, some of the players that they got out of the transfer portal, Marvin Jones Jr. is one name that I would love to highlight, him coming over from Georgia. His dad is a legacy Seminole, so he's going to have some big shoes to fill along that defensive line. And one player that's not even listed, who I think is going to be their best player on the defensive side, is Patrick Payton. A lot of NFL scouts that I talked to believe that he has the potential to be a top 15 overall pick. So there's a lot of people along this defensive line. And two other names I would love to mention, Joshua Farmer as well as Darrell Jackson in the middle, two former high school teammates together in the state of Florida. So this defense it has a chance to be very, very good. And I think that's what the identity of the Seminoles is going to continue to be going into this year.
Well, and Harry, how many wins do you think this team is capable of this year?
I got to tell you, looking at that Florida State schedule, I don't know that a lot of teams would envy them because obviously the conference schedule is tough enough. A lot of those coming on the road against Notre Dame, against Miami, and against SMU, which I think is going to be a tough one as well. But I think that opening game against Georgia Tech is going to be a tough one, an improved team there with Haynes King at quarterback. That Memphis game is going to be a tough one. That is a team in the group of 5 who believes that this can be the year that they make the playoff, especially with how much returning players that they have, including a 4-year starter at quarterback in Seth Hennigan. So if I were to make a safe bet, I would say at least 9 wins. But again, this could be one of those schedules where if Florida State gets the ball rolling the right way in those close games, they could easily win more than that.
I think it comes down to 3 games for them, and it's the October 5th matchup where they have to go to, they play Clemson. They play Miami on October 26th. Miami has a lot of hype, and I believe they're going to be a contender in the ACC this year as well. But that November 9th game against Notre Dame, that's another game of where we're going to find out just how good Florida State can be. So I think they can get to that double-digit win mark, but if they can come out of that 3-week stretch where it's with a 2-1 record or a 3-0 record, winning 2 or 3 of those games, they have a chance to get to the double-digit win mark.
They might not get that 13-win season, but this team definitely has a chip on their shoulder. As Harry said, playing with their hair on fire, having been left out of the playoff last year. That video still haunts a lot of us. But you can catch the full Florida State road trip tonight at 6 p.m. on ACC Network. And don't...